here we have Miss Ayn Rand, what her notion of rationality is. She says the virtue of rationality means the recognition and acceptance of reason. She uses the word reason to define rationality. These are essentially synonyms, okay? As one's only source of knowledge. What does knowledge have to do with rationality? Again, she had no clue whatsoever. It shows here that she has no clue. One's only judge of values and one's only guide to action. It means one's total commitment to the state of full conscious awareness. What does conscious awareness have to do with rationality? You can't define rationality in terms of consciousness, awareness, perception, knowledge, none of that. To the maintenance of a full mental focus. Mental focus is what rationality is about. You know, a lot of people focus mentally, but whether they're rational, I don't know. In all choices, what does choices have to do with rationality? In all one's waking hours. Well, hopefully you do it while you're awake. Yeah, sure. It means a commitment to the fullest perception of reality. Perception of reality is rationality. I mean, some people, their reality is that God exists and God does all these funny things out there. That's their notion of, that's their perception. That's how they see the universe or the world around them. Are they rational because of that? Just because they perceive something, or they come up with these ideas, these phantoms, these spirits? Okay. And again, she relates it to knowledge. Okay, so how do we contrast this? What is rationality under rational science? Okay, we have to define the word rational because we're going to say that we have rational science. What we do is define irrationality so that it's much easier and people can relate to that a lot better. And here it goes. This is the definition of rationality. These are the criteria. Treating a concept as an object, reification, concretization, that's irrational. When you say that love can move mountains, poetically, that's beautiful, but you can't introduce that into physics, for example. You can't say that love moved mountains. You can say a rock moved a mountain, maybe, but not that a love, a concept, okay? Using inconsistent definitions or undefined words, which is essentially all of the words that Ayn Rand defined are inconsistent. She tried to define words, but she wasn't very successful at it. The theory doesn't follow from the assumptions. The prosecutor presents a knife as exhibit 1, and then he tells the crowd, the jury, the person died of poisoning. Poisoning doesn't follow from the knife, that sort of thing. Okay, describing and claiming to have explained, which is what the mathematical physicists do all the time. They do a description. They say, we've explained it. We've got a theory. They call their descriptions theories. And the mechanism proposed doesn't work or cannot even be imagined. For example, space-time, warpage of space-time. Maybe a better one is the fact that your twin brother is 50 years younger or 50 years older than you. Special relativity. Unimaginable. You two came out of the same womb and same day, maybe a few minutes between you, and he's 50 years older than you. That's what special relativity asks you to believe. Another mechanism, particle can be at 2 places at once. I mean, I like to get to these extreme examples so that maybe it shocks people into thinking. Maybe you snap out of it and say, well, yeah, that doesn't sound right. Of course it doesn't sound right. It's idiocy. It's period. I mean, the explanations that mathematical physics gives today, black holes, a zero-dimensional singularity that pulls stars around itself, twirls them, and forces them to orbit around this zero-dimensional, zero-volume, no-size nothingness, just because it has mass, infinite mass. Well, how does mass do it? Please explain. How does a concept move a star around itself? So we have all these problems and that people have trouble understanding because they get so used to reading about these things. Oh, black holes, they've been proven. Yeah, they exist. They're looking for another one now. And people don't ask these basic questions like, what is a black hole? A zero-dimensional singularity? And some people even say, no, that's not what mathematical physics says. Yes, it does. Chandrasekhar got his Nobel Prize for proving mathematically that a star that is much bigger than the sun collapses to zero-dimensional structure, no volume, no size. That's what he got a Nobel Prize for. So don't tell me that a black hole has structure. It crushes all matter out of existence. There is no length, width, and height. And this zero-dimensional nothingness twirls a star around itself. Please explain the mechanism. Put it on the board. I want to see how it does it. Show me the mechanism. Okay? And this is the issue.